Le'Veon Bell seems to be in the best shape of his life. Adam Gase and Bell obviously are on the same page. We talked about that last week. And here's Sam Darnold, who's not only getting this incredible praise from Adam Gase, but take a listen or take a look at what Brashard Perryman had to say about him yesterday after practice.
He can take control over the room very easily. I just like the whole way of how he leads, and him as a quarterback, man, it's a receiver's dream.
Touch that he has on the ball is just crazy. I feel like I haven't really had that from any other quarterback. Even the spin that he has on the ball is it's just different. I just feel like the ability and where he put the balls at, the touch that he puts on the ball is just something special.
The guys that have been here for a couple of years, they keep talking about how it just, it feels different around here. The vibe's different, the energy's different. I think everything for him is quicker. You can tell he's not thinking about all the little things you do in the first year of a playbook.
You want to follow him, you want to listen to him, and work hard for him.
In the dog days of August, training camp has hit another gear in FLORHAM Park.
Oh, there you go, good. All right, that's all I need.
The players are battling each day to earn a spot on the 53-man roster. For the Jets' safeties, they're working on building chemistry after an off-season overhaul at the position. It's a unit that will look to bring plenty of thunder in the back end of the new-look secondary.
It's been a good group. Everybody has their unique ways. Like I said, Bradley's very vocal. He's smart. He's picking up on things pretty well. Ashtyn, he's all ears, but he's learning fast. I'm excited for him, just seeing him run around and stuff like that.
Bradley McDougald is no stranger to new surroundings. The former undrafted free agent is entering his 8th season in the NFL. The newest member of the Jets secondary has an unrivaled drive to succeed that stems back to the beginning of his childhood and a bond that can't be broken. Growing up in Dublin, Ohio, Bradley and Brandon McDougald were inseparable.
Older brother was kind of definitely a mentor to me. I didn't grow up with my father growing up. It was me, my mom, my older brother. And my mom had one rule: wherever you go, you take your brother. So I learned very quickly how to listen, how to follow lead, and just be his wing. I did a lot of watching. Just had an example, whether that was good or bad. He always gave me an example. I had somebody to base my opinions off of, my ideas. It wasn't the first time for me to see anything because my brother had been through it, and I see him go through and how he handled different situations, and it just taught me.
As their bond continued to grow, Bradley and his family received devastating news prior to Brandon's 6th grade year.
Going back to when he was diagnosed with cancer, I was probably in the 3rd grade. I know he was in the 5th to be exact, and he was going into his 6th grade year, but at the time I didn't even know what cancer was. They said it and I'm like, okay, that must be something like a cold or an illness or something that anybody gets. I didn't understand the magnitude of his situation, but he was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a cancer of the leg, or bone cancer actually, but he had his in the leg, and they found it too late and they had to amputate his leg. I didn't really get to see my brother much in that time because he was at the hospital constantly. I still had to go to school. He was doing school in this hospital. So me and my brother was separated, and that was the first time ever being separated from my brother, especially for that long, and not really knowing if he's okay. I just know he's in the hospital. I'm not knowing about chemo and all the different radiation treatments he's doing and all the things that he's battling, literally battling for his life. While I'm just out being a kid, I just didn't know any better. I didn't know anything of the situation, but looking back on how strong he was and had to be at such an early age is just, monumental.
For
It was two things that came from it. You know, I could never feel sorry for myself or bad for myself at any time and moment in life because I know there's people out here going through way worse. And growing up, football and sports period was always my escape from reality. You know, no matter what was going on at home or in my family, I know for those couple hours I was in between those white lines, I was safe. I was good. I didn't have to worry about anybody, anything. I could just play sports and let my God-given ability shine through. Never feel sorry for yourself, you know, because it's people out there who would give, you know, one of their limbs just to go out here and give one day in my life in my shoes. And that was before professional football, you know, just go play college football, just to play sports again, you know. So it's something I don't take lightly. Sports, you know, it's a game the most, but it's a lifestyle to me, and it's taught me so much about life.
With his brother cancer-free and cheering him on from the stands, McDougald began to make a name for himself in football. His goal was to never take the easy road, but the right road for him.
I had offers to go to everywhere from Ohio State to Michigan State to Wisconsin, you know, all these big name Big Ten schools, but that didn't really move me. When I came out, I always wanted to stay true to myself. I told myself that, you know, football is great, but I need to go somewhere where I feel comfortable at, where I feel like it's a family environment. And I could really, because the only way I'm gonna succeed in any of these schools if I get to be me, my true self every day, and I feel comfortable there. Because football is only a semester long. You know, I'm gonna have to be there for 2-3 other semesters. So cancer just spoke to me, and I also like the idea of going to a program that was rebuilding and being part of the takeover. You know, this is why this school became successful, because this guy, and this guy. You know, I wanted to be a part of something like that.
Despite developing into one of the best safeties in the Big 12, McDougald didn't hear his name called in the 2013 NFL Draft. Entering the league as an undrafted free agent, he drew motivation from one of his former college teammates.
I think the thing that helped me the most is I had examples right before me. You know, my junior year in college, that was Chris Harris Jr.'s rookie year, you know, and see a guy like Chris, me and him play together for 2 years, and I see him not only go out and make the team, but have early success. I'm like, wow, that's the same Chris that I was practicing with every day. Why can't I make it? You know, so when it was my turn and I went undrafted, all I felt was, this is my turn to do exactly what he did. I didn't feel the pressure of, oh, I might get cut, tomorrow I might get cut. No, I'm gonna just go out here every day and make a play. You know, I always had that mindset. We run 40, 50 plays of practice, I should be able to make one play in that day. And if I could do that every day and keep getting noticed for doing something positive, they have no choice but to keep me. And I keep that mindset to this day, you know. I go out there, I don't care if I have a 3-year contract or 1 year, every day is a new opportunity to go out there and prove who I am and show up on tape some type of way.
After 4 productive seasons in Tampa, McDougald signed with the Seattle Seahawks, where he had an opportunity to join one of the league's most dominant secondaries.
Again time, near side, intercepted! It's intercepted by Chancellor! Touchdown! 89 yards!
When Pro Bowl safety Cam Chancellor suffered a season-ending injury, McDougald was tasked with replacing one of the game's best.
You know, I did have to fill his shoes, but me and Cam are 2 completely different players, you know, from physical stature to how we play the game. You know, both can be productive, it's just what you're wanting. And so the first thing I did, me and Cam used to have study sessions at night. You know, I'd go to work 8 to 6, 7. I'd be at Cam's house by 7:45. Like, if I'm going to replace one of the best safeties to play this game, you know, especially in the last 10 years or so, then I need to see what he's been seeing. I want to see what you see to make you react so fast and play the way that you've been playing, you know, because it's already been solidified that you're great. So I want to see what you're seeing at the same time what you're seeing, and then I'm going to put my own flair into it, and that's what I was able to do.
Bye, 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 bye. Everybody say bye, bye, bye to the nice guy. Everybody say
at the end of the day, I was replacing Cam, but I was just going out there to be my best self. And I preach that every day. You know, be your best self. You can only be you. I'm here for a reason. I didn't get here playing like Cam. I didn't get here trying to hit like Cam. I got here by being me. And that's been good enough for the last XYZ years, and it's going to be good enough now. I just need to have my keys and my assignments right, and everything else will take care of itself.
This blockbuster trade, 2 first-rounders and Bradley McDougald go to the Jets.
3 days prior to training camp, McDougald got the news that he'd be making his way east and joining the Jets secondary.
It was smooth, you know, it was football, and that's what I was. That's all I wanted to do, is play football, have an opportunity to go somewhere and throw on a uniform and keep playing the game that I love. I just love playing football, and, you know, and I love a team that wants me and is happy to have me, and I feel that here. So, you know, it's been nothing but love since I stepped foot in New Jersey, and I still feel it. I'm still out there working. I'm still out there going hard every day, trying to show my teammates, my new teammates, my new coaches, you know what I'm saying, the player that they got and the man that they got, and I'm gonna be here to work every day, you know, no matter if I'm sore, tired, or hurting, I'm out there working, I'm grinding with them, and I hope that they see that and they feel that.
He can play in the box and in free safety as well. So just having him, you know, coming from Seattle, you know, he's played in some big games, been a part of a great team. So he knows what it takes. He's been out there on the field before. So just having him out there with me, he'll definitely be excited.
With his brother in his corner, McDougald is more motivated than ever to leave his mark in the green and white this fall.
What I'm responsible for doing is being accountable to those guys in the locker room, not the guys that's outside of this building. You know, as long as I keep my effort, my attention, and my grind safe for the people that's in that huddle or in that locker room, then it doesn't matter about anything else to me. Everybody that plays football has a why, you know, and over the years, my why's changed a couple times. You know, the same thing doesn't motivate the same person every, you know, week in, week out, or each season in, season out. The thing about me and my brother is I know that my brother's gonna be there for me if I have a good game, a bad game, if I make the team, if I get cut. Me and my brother have a thing, MBK, my brother's keeper. He's always gonna be that one proud rock and soul. And not even to say that he's my only, you know, supporter or person that's proud of me, but to know that he's always gonna be right there, good or bad, you know, that makes the world of difference to me. It's kind of been my story though. I've been slept on, I've been an underdog, and that's never gonna change. Whether I have a great season, whether I have a bad season, somebody's always gonna have something to say. So I'm gonna always have somebody to prove wrong. But at the end of the day, I'm just here to prove to myself that I'm the best me possible every day. Just show up and keep working to be your best you.
McDougald isn't the only new addition to the safeties room in FLORHAM Park. Third-round draft pick Ashtyn Davis has been flying around the practice field at one Jets drive. As the quietest member of the Jets secondary, he's been flying under the radar his entire life.
Football in Santa Cruz, you know, although we've had quite a few NFL guys out of Santa Cruz High and other area high schools, still not known as a football hotbed. You know, it's surfing, mountain biking. You know, some of the X Games sports are probably more popular around here.
Sports weren't a big thing, but I was always competitive, so that was always my outlet. Tried really hard to get my mom to let me play football, and she wouldn't for the longest time. Another one of my friend's parents finally convinced her to let me play, and I've kind of loved it ever since.
Ashtyn loved and appreciated what football is all about, and you didn't have to talk to Ashtyn about how important it was to be in the weight room or how important it was to make sure your GPA stayed up. Everybody was going to follow along with what Ashtyn was doing because he made it look like it was just normal. That's what you're supposed to do, is what Ashtyn's doing for the team.
I think his demeanor, he's a very quiet guy, and but very serious about football and getting better, and he would come in early on his own and just wanting to learn.
We had heard about some of his Pop Warner prowess and had some other friends that were coming out for football. So we knew he was a good athlete. Originally, you know, he looked a little small, and but he had speed right away. We knew there was something special there if he continued to develop.
Looking to add more speed to his game, Davis turned to another sport. It was a move that would rocket him into the spotlight. Unintentionally.
I got convinced to run track, basically just to get faster for football. I was fortunate enough to make it to state meet, break a couple school records. Decided I was going to try to use that, as my stepping stone to get to where I wanted to be for football.
Track was always a means to the end. I'm sure he won't mind me telling this, but Ashtyn doesn't like running hurdles. It's not his favorite thing to do. He's obviously very good at it.
While Ashtyn was clearing his path to football, his father, Sean, had his own hurdles to overcome. Although he was battling an addiction with drugs and alcohol, Davis' father never took his family out of sight.
Obviously, I knew something was up, but I was too young to kind of understand what was going on. And he would try to be sober for games, but as a result of that, he would be asleep the whole time. He had peace of mind enough to try to be sober for big events, but, he's tired from going on a bender or whatever it was. I'm still, I'm thankful he was there when he could be.
Ashtyn's not the guy that, the first time you meet him, he's just going to tell you his life story. I mean, I think over time we kind of learn more and more, and he has been through a lot.
We had a couple conversations, just checking in, how's the family doing? And this is probably the point where Dad had, corrected and made some changes in his life for the very, very positive.
Me and my sister got matching tattoos, and it's basically the AA symbol with sobriety birth date, and that's something to me that symbolizes more than just my dad getting sober. It's symbolized the day we got Pops back. Sports was always an outlet for me, a way to especially football, kind of express some of that emotion and use it in a positive way.
It is probably the healthiest escape for most young men and women, is to get out there and be athletic, exercise, and stay away from drugs and alcohol and bad influences. And I think the hurdles, and especially qualifying for state in the hurdles, really opened up doors, and more so than football even had. And I think he was smart enough and dedicated enough to use that as a way in, and then force people to recognize what he could do on the football field.
My coach in track, he made me introduce myself to every single person I could that had a clipboard in their hand and looked like a coach from a big school. I ultimately went with Cal because that was really my only option in terms of if I wanted to become a Division I athlete, and best decision of my life.
After walking on to the track team at Cal, Ashtyn was faced with a decision he knew would change his life, but one he never had to think twice about.
After my freshman year at UC Berkeley, Cal, they offered me a full ride scholarship, but under the condition that I didn't try to pursue football. And I turned it down. After talking to my parents, they were willing to take out loans to try to, because they knew that football was always the goal, and that's why they got it, and they understood that this is what I want to do, and they were willing to figure it out financially for me. Super thankful for that.
After finally getting his opportunity on the football field, Davis now needed to learn one thing: defense.
He was very talented from the get-go. Just he had a limited football background. He hadn't played a lot, and so he's not one of those guys that grew up playing 7-on-7 and having personal trainers and all that.
I had an offensive highlight tape that I sent that I don't think anybody looked at because I ended up in a defensive jersey whenever I got out there.
And we moved him from corner. We had actually repped him a lot at nickel, and then moved him to safety in fall camp. And as I mentioned before, he was in the building like 6 a.m. Doing extra time so he could learn how to play safety.
It was a foreign language to me, and once my college coach explained just scheme and where people are supposed to fit and how defenses work, it was just night and day. Things started to click, and everything just became easier.
Who walked onto the program 5 years ago, had to beg for a spot on the roster.
Ashtyn Davis on play. Now they got an open man over the middle, intercepted again. Bears bring it back up to the 40, to the 45, still running to the 50.
Tipped in, picked off by Davis.
Intercepted by
Ashtyn Davis.
I started hearing, buzz around my junior year, but I'm trying not to listen to it. we always called that poison, whether it was good or bad, just not to feed into it.
I remember the play against Colorado. He had an interception for a touchdown early in the game.
Montez fires and it's intercepted. Ashtyn Davis with the pick. Davis down the sideline. Davis takes it to the house.
The year before, they hit us on a dagger route 2 times for big first downs. So we had repped this route over and over. And I mean, he played the play like he was the intended receiver. You know, he took that from the meeting room to the field and then made the play and then returned it for a touchdown. It's like, that's where it's, you know, things get put together. Just so incredibly humble. I don't know if I've been around somebody that talented who just I mean, I don't know if he knows it.
How would you characterize your day at the office?
Unbelievable. I don't know. I didn't expect coming out and doing this, but it feels really good. I don't know how to describe it right now.
To make it out of Santa Cruz and get past that first hurdle and then excel at the next level and now have the opportunity to excel at the biggest level, it's an incredible source of pride for our entire community.
2 years after making the team as a walk-on and proving himself on the field, Davis earned a scholarship, this time for the game he loved.
But I remember him coming up and just, thanking me and us for putting him on scholarship.
And I just said, thank you, walked back in.
You shouldn't be thanking us. We should be thanking you, he earned every bit of that.
I didn't really give a big reaction. Obviously I was super grateful and not let it affect my work ethic or anything. So I didn't really react too much.
Seeing somebody earn it, like I said, he's not the guy that's going to go around telling everybody how good he is or what he's done, but they notice and they watch how hard he works. And I think he's been a great example for a lot of younger players to see, this is how you do it.
With the 68th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Ashtyn Davis.
It was awesome having both my parents there. I had kind of the same reaction when I got told I was put on scholarship.
Ashtyn,
what's going on?
Hey man, we're fired up that you're here.
Fired up to be there. I can't wait. I don't know, when I got selected, it fueled me. Like I didn't feel like I had arrived yet. I feel like this is the start of the journey. And like I said, I got my foot in the door and I'm just ready to roll now.
He brings his versatile skill set to the Jets secondary. The humble Davis is already impressing his teammates on and off the field.
I told LG and I told Joe Douglas, this young man is a sponge. I mean, he soaks up everything. And you see this guy, once you practice it, he goes out and does it. He has this confidence about him. He's violent when he gets around the ball. You can see the speed. I mean, he's sideline to sideline. Personally, I love coaching this young man.
We can just be walking to the cafeteria and he'll stop and ask a question. If he's, on the sideline watching and I get done with, my reps and he's asking, what was the formation, what was the, read and stuff like that.
The best thing about him, he's a smart rookie. A lot of rookies don't come in and be able to diagnose X's and O's the way he does. And on top of that, he's athletic. So he has the tools, it's just when it finally clicks for him.
And there's another guy that's had to prove himself. And I love the fact that he had to walk on and had to do everything he could to get a scholarship and get some time, at the college level to play. He's extremely hardworking and got a very good skill set.
He got drafted just because he deserves it, and he's earned it, and he's worked so hard, nothing's been given to him.
Most of his college career was, football and track. And so you're running indoor and outdoor seasons and you're not getting full spring footballs, you're not getting complete off-season workouts. And now that he's going to get nothing but football and he'll absorb that like a sponge, I think it's going to be amazing to see what he's capable of.
This wasn't the end of the road. This is just about getting my foot in the door, and now I've done that. I'm very anxious. Just like college, I'm just waiting for my time, doing what I can to make sure I'm ready when my time comes.
No matter the road, no matter the story, no matter the why, the 2020 New York Jets are coming together. one day at a time, and one play at a time. With Week 1 on the horizon. Coming up next week on One Jets Drive.
Rashad Perriman, whose father played for the Detroit Lions, is got to be thinking of his dad.
You know, of course, I fell in love with the game of football because of him. I feel like, you know, just coming up hearing all the stories and seeing old film of him, you know, playing, mean everything to me, you know, just really to make him happy.
On like undrafted, like you really have to focus on doing the small things, right? I've had to step up at the wideout spot, so I'm just trying to own my craft there and show the coach that I can make plays too.